Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Sir Farhan. Guys, let's start AS level paper 2 of October-November 2025, variance 21. In the last segment, we have done variance 22. So let's see what we have in this paper. Okay. Chromium is basically a transition element, and its compounds are widely used in many chemical reactions. Chromium exists as four stable isotopes. The most common isotope of chromium is chromium 52. Uh, all right, determine the number of protons, neutrons, and electrons in an atom of chromium 52. So, chromium has an atomic number of 52. So, when we use the periodic table, I'm going to get the atomic number of chromium from there. So, technically, atomic number of chromium is 24. Okay, let's confirm this. So, the atomic number of chromium is 24 and its mass is 52. So, I was right. Now, if the atomic number is 52, atomic number is 24, which means it has 24 protons, 24 electrons, and when we subtract 52 from 24, I'll get number of neutrons, and that's going to be 28. Okay, which means number of protons is 24, number of electrons is also 24, but number of neutron is 28. Part 2. Describe how an atom of chromium 54 differs from an atom of chromium 52. Refer to the number of particles in your answer. So basically, chromium 54 and chromium 52 both are isotopes of each other. And in isotopes, basically they have same number of protons and electrons but different number of neutrons. In chromium 54, it has same number of protons and electrons, but different number of neutrons. The relative isotopic masses of the isotope of chromium can be determined using mass spectrometry. State what other information is needed to calculate the relative atomic mass of chromium. In order to get the relative atomic mass of chromium, apart from isotopic masses, we need to find out the percentage abundances of all the isotopes. All right. So it's going to be percentage abundance of all the isotopes. Atom 52, 53, and 54 chromium make up more than 95% of naturally occurring chromium. The AR of naturally occurring chromium is 51.996. That's an accurate relative atomic mass of chromium. All right. Suggest what these statements imply about the relative atomic mass of the fourth stable isotope of chromium. Uh, I believe the relative atomic mass is 51.996, which means the relative isotopic mass of the fourth chromium should be lower than this value. All right. So what we can write here? The relative isotopic mass must be lower than 51.996. All right. The shorthand electronic configuration of chromium is this. We have done in the class. Complete the full electronic configuration of chromium in terms of sp notation. So it's going to be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, and after 3p6 we have 3d5 and 4s1. Deduce the total number of unpaired electrons in an atom of chromium. So in order to find the number of unpaired electrons, I believe we need to go for spin configuration. So whenever examiner is looking for unpaired electron or paired electron, I can get the answer through spin configuration only, okay? So argon shows 18 electron. This is 3d and this is 4s. You know, chromium follows half-filled orbital concept, which is why 4s contain 1 electron and 3d contain 5 electrons. So the total unpaired electrons of chromium is going to be 6. Okay. Let's move on to the next page. Acidified dichromate 6 ions will convert methanol to carbon dioxide. If that's the case, then according to my lecture, dichromate 6 ions is acting as an oxidizing agent in this reaction. All right, and it shows orange color before the reaction. You know that. And methanol is technically acting as a reducing agent. Which is why reaction is going to be redox. The movement of electron to or from relevant species is shown in the following half equations. Identify the species that is reduced in the half equation 2. In half equation 2, dichromate 6 ions undergoes reduction because they are gaining the electron, because they are oxidizing agents, so they are going to be they're going to accept the electrons during the reaction. Okay, explain your answer. That's very easy. Cr2O72 negative, that is dichromate 6 ions, gains electron as they are oxidizing agent. Okay. The oxidation state of carbon atom in methanol is 0. Calculate the oxidation state of carbon in carbon dioxide. So the oxidation state of carbon is going to be X because we need to find the value of carbon. Oxygen has a charge of -2 because it belongs to group 16 of the periodic table. We have 2 oxygen, so it should be into 2. Since the molecule is neutral and has no overall charge, which is y equals to 0, then X equals to +4, which means the oxidation state of carbon in carbon dioxide is going to be +4. Construct the ionic equation for the reaction of dichromate 6 ions with methanol in acidic condition. So what we can do is we need to balance the number of electrons of each half cell. Then we need to cancel out the number of electrons and then we'll get the answer. Okay, so let me write this down again. Okay, so we have 4 electron in the reaction 1 and we have 6 electron in reaction 2. So what we can do is we need to multiply number of electrons so we need to multiply 6 with this equation and 4 with this equation to get the number of electrons balanced. As soon as the number of electrons are balanced, we need to cancel them out. Now look, we have 6 times 4, 24 hydrogen ions on the product side. We have 14 times 4 is basically 56 hydrogen ion. My goodness, so technically we are cancelling 6 water molecule from this. So whatever left, hydrogen ion also cancelling out with each other. So whatever left on the reactant and product side, we need to write it down very carefully. Okay, so it's going to be 6CH2O plus 6 water molecule has gone, 4Cr2O72 negative plus 14 times 4 is 56. When we subtract 24 from 56, I'm going to get 32 hydrogen ions. Put to 8 chromium 3 plus 4 7 is 28, 28 minus 6, 22 water molecule left on the product side. And whatever 6 carbon dioxide. So that's my balanced chemical equation, guys. And according to the examiner report, examiner has removed this part from the question paper during checking. And I don't know the reason, because we have done these ion electron equations in the class. I don't know examiner, I don't know the reason behind cancelling this part of the question. Okay. Somehow we have solved that, and the color observation during the reaction would be orange to green. So orange shows dichromate ions and chromium 3 plus shows green color. Okay. Methanol is a liquid at minus 30 degrees Celsius, but carbon dioxide is a gas at this temperature. Explain why. Because carbon dioxide has no net dipole. Because carbon dioxide has no net dipole, as dipole cancel out with each other. So it exhibits instantaneous dipole induced dipole forces. So it is a gas. Methanol exhibit permanent dipole-dipole forces which is stronger than instantaneous dipole induced dipole forces. Okay, I hope it makes sense to you. But let me draw the structure of methanol for you. This is methanol. So this methanol has carbonyl group. This carbonyl group has permanent dipole. Because oxygen is more electronegative element as compared to carbon, which is why oxygen has slight negative charge and carbon has slight positive charge. Because of this permanent charges, it exhibit permanent dipole. Okay, and permanent dipole-dipole forces are generally stronger than van der Waals forces or temporary induced dipole-dipole forces. I hope it makes sense to you. Next part of the question. In acidic medium, dynamic equilibrium is established between chromate 6 ions and dichromate 6 ions. By the way, we have done this equation in class. Chromate 6 ions has a yellow color and dichromate 6 ions has an orange color. So under acidic medium, equilibrium needs to be established like this, okay? So delta H is greater than 0. State what is meant by the term dynamic equilibrium. So dynamic equilibrium is basically the rate of forward equals to the rate of backward reaction. Yeah. So rate of forward reaction equals to the rate of backward reaction. Identify the necessary condition to establish dynamic equilibrium. Has to be the closed system or closed container. Needs use closed container or closed vessel. Okay. Chromate 6 ions are yellow and dichromate 6 ions are orange. State what is observed when following changes are made to an equilibrium mixture of acidified chromate 6 ions and dichromate 6 ions. The equilibrium mixture is warmed gently. Since reaction is endothermic, because delta H is positive, right? So if we increase the temperature through gentle heating, equilibrium favors towards right hand side and therefore orange color is observed. Observation. Orange color dominates. Why? So forward reaction is endothermic. So increasing temperature favors equilibrium towards right hand side. Okay. Let me tell you one more thing here. This indicates that reaction is endothermic, okay? Because delta H value is greater than 0, which means enthalpy change value is becomes positive, which means it is endothermic. All right. Okay. Dilute HCl is added to the equilibrium mixture. When you add dilute HCl in the equilibrium mixture, this increases the concentration of hydrogen ions and favors the equilibrium towards right hand side. Therefore, orange color dominates again. Reason: adding HCl increases the concentration of hydrogen ion. So this favors the equilibrium towards right hand side just to remove extra hydrogen ions. Chromium 4 fluoride is a covalent molecule. If it is a covalent molecule, which means it has a simple molecular structure, shows similar chemical properties to SiCl4. If SiCl4 is liquid at RTP, I believe chromium 4 chloride is also a liquid at RTP. State the type of reaction that occurs when chromium 4 fluoride is placed in water. Construct a relevant equation. Type of reaction is hydrolysis when SiCl4, that is silicon tetrachloride, undergoes reaction with water. It shows hydrolysis, right? So if chromium 4 fluoride has a similar chemical properties to SiCl4, that indicates that chromium 4 fluoride also hydrolyzed with water. So I'm going to write hydrolysis. Now, chromium 4 fluoride, when treated with 4 water molecule, it will turn to chromium 4 oxide, which is CrO2. CrO2, chromium 4 oxide plus 4 to the 8. Uh, it has to be 2 then, right? CrO2 and 2HF4. So 2HF, 2 hydrogen fluoride. You can write this equation in this way also. CrF4 plus 4H2O, it will turn to CrOH taken 4 plus 4HF. So both of them are right. You can write any one of them. All right. So that's your choice. That's a very huge question. That's 20 marks per question. That's huge. All right. Let's move on to the next question. Period 3 element shows trends in physical and chemical properties across the period. Figure 2.1 shows the variation in atomic and ionic radii of the period 3 element sodium to chlorine. Ionic radius of silicon is not shown. All right. Atomic radius is represented by this shade, black shaded box, and ionic radius is represented by unshaded box. So technically, ionic radius from chloride to phosphorus increases, and atomic radius from sodium to chlorine decreases. Okay, and that's what we have done in the class also. So explain the trend shown in the atomic radii of the period 3 element sodium to chlorine. So across the period, Nuclear charge increases. If nuclear charge increases, shielding remains same. Nucleus to valence electron attraction increases. Okay. Which is why atomic radius decreases. Hence, atomic radius decreases. Explain why there is a large difference in the ionic radius of aluminum and phosphorus. Aluminum is a metal belong to group 3. In fact, group 13. So it loses 3 electrons, 3 valence electrons. Okay. Hmm. And when it loses 3 valence electron, obviously it has then it has total 2 shells. Okay. Phosphorus gains 3 electrons in its valence shell um, in its valence shell. So it has total 3 shells. And so it carries 3 negative charge. Let's start part B. Table 2.1 gives some information about some of the period 3 oxides. Row B gives the pH of the solution that forms when the period 3 oxide is added to water. Complete table 2.1. All right. Sodium has an oxidation state of +1. Magnesium has an oxidation state of +2. So technically oxidation state increases because number of valence electrons also increases. Okay. pH of solutions, sodium oxide when dissolved in water, it will give you a strong alkaline solution of pH 14. Magnesium oxide gives a weak alkaline solution of pH 9. Aluminum oxide and silicon dioxide both are insoluble in water, so they will not show any sort of change in pH. P4O10 when dissolved in water, it will give you an acidic solution of pH 3 to 4. Similarly, sulfur trioxide, when dissolved in water, it will turn to sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is a strong acid, so it will show you 2 to 3 pH. All right. State why there is no data given for B for aluminum oxide and silicon dioxide, because both of them are insoluble in water. Because both are insoluble in water. Write an equation for the reaction of sodium oxide with dilute hydrochloric acid. One thing you need to remember that sodium oxide is basically basic oxide, and all basic oxides can react with acid to form salt and water. So sodium oxide is Na2O. It is reacting with hydrochloric acid, converting into sodium chloride, which is your salt, and water. Construct an equation for the reaction of aluminum oxide with the base to form sodium aluminate. And that's what we have done in the class. Al2O3, when treated with sodium hydroxide, it will turn to sodium aluminate. Okay, plus H2O. Group 2 nitrates decomposes on heating to form oxides. State the trend in thermal stabilities of group 2 nitrates. Thermal stability increases down the group. Identify the other products of the thermal decomposition of group 2 nitrates. So obviously oxygen, and nitrogen dioxide. Okay. So examiner has given us oxide as a product. So apart from oxide, what other products are formed? Obviously, we need to write nitrogen dioxide and oxygen. Okay. So that's the end of this question number 2. Let's start question number 3. Cycloalkanes is a basically saturated hydrocarbon. Also shows similar chemical properties to alkanes but have same empirical formula as alkene. Define empirical formula. Simplest ratio of the atom the simplest ratio of the atom of each element in a compound is called empirical formula. Cyclopentane C5H10 has 4 cyclic structural isomers. One of these is isomer is C as shown in figure 3.1. Figure 3.1 shows 2 other cyclic structural isomers of C5H10. Well, C5H10 has multiple sort of cyclic structures. First of all, let me draw this one. What if it put 2 alkyl group with the same carbon atom? That's one possibility. Second possibility, that we have a cyclopropane, and in that we have ethyl group. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 plus 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's also possible. And one more, I believe, cyclobutane and attached to one alkyl group. So these are the three possible structural isomers of cyclopentane, and we need to write any two of them. So I'm going to write this one, and I'm going to write this one because these two are very, very simple. This is either you need to put alkyl group here or that carbon with this carbon or this carbon. It's totally up to you. Formula will remain same. Structure is going to be different. And we need to write another one. Let's suppose this is cyclopropane, and we need to attach two methyl group with the same carbon atom. Over here we have the same alkyl group attached to different carbon atoms. In this, we need to attach alkyl groups with the same carbon atom. So the position of alkyl group technically changes in both the isomers, okay? I hope it makes sense to you. Part C, cyclopentane reacts with chlorine in the presence of ultraviolet light to form chlorocyclopentane. The reaction is initiated by the bond fission of chlorine. This bond fission is called homolytic fission. State the type of bond fission shown in the initiation step. So it's going to be homolytic fission. In homolytic fission, equal distribution of electron takes place. Next, part 2. Complete the equations to show the two propagation steps that follow the initiation step. In the first propagation step, chlorine radical involved in the reaction. H and chlorine radical combine together to give HCl, and we'll get this sort of radical. Now this radical is going to be treated with chlorine molecule again, and as a result you will get C5H9Cl plus chlorine radical. Okay, I hope it makes sense to you. We have done a lot of practice regarding these propagation steps. The final step is shown. This final step is going to be the chain termination step. When two radicals join together to form a covalent bond, that means chain termination takes place. So the name of this step is going to be the chain termination. You can write termination also, because examiner has given us propagation only, so you can write termination only here. Right? Let's move on to the next part of the question. By the way, if you remember, in the first step of propagation, basically in cyclopentane, a carbon hydrogen bond must be broken, and that hydrogen radical reacts with chlorine radical to give you an HCl. Okay, I hope it makes sense to you. I hope you remember that point. Let me have some water, and let's move on to the next page. Okay. Figure 3.2 shows a reaction cycle involving cyclopentane, and chlorocyclopentane. Okay. Identify a suitable reagent for reaction 3. So this is cyclopentane, and this is chlorocyclopentane, which means we need to add hydrogen and chlorine. We need to add HCl. Okay. So one hydrogen is here, one chlorine is here, which means we need to add hydrogen and chlorine, which means we need to use HCl, hydrogen chloride. Use the data in figure 3.2 and table 3.1 to calculate the enthalpy change of reaction 2. And combustion data is given. Oh my goodness. So we have two different steps here. This is cyclopentane. It is reacting with hydrogen, converting into cyclopentane. Okay, we need to find the value of delta H. We need to find the value of enthalpy change from this equation. And since the combustion data is given, we need to show the downward arrows like this. And because of combustion, I'll get carbon dioxide and water molecule. How many water molecules here? How many hydrogen atoms here? 10 and plus 2, 12. So we need to put 6 here. So cyclopentene has a value of minus 3,115. It has minus 286. It has minus 3,292. So let me draw a clockwise arrow in this thermochemical Haseloff cycle. This value and this value is going to be positive, and this value and this value is going to be negative. So let's equate the equation. Enthalpy change of reaction minus 3,292 minus 3,115 minus 286 equals to 0. So enthalpy change of reaction is going to be minus 109 kilojoules per mole. Okay. So that's one part of the question. Now the second part of the question, examiner is looking for the value of this delta H2. See, we have calculated this value. We know the value of this, and we need to find the value. So reaction basically takes place in one step or more than one step. Total amount of energy is same, which is why we need to apply Hassel law on this thermochemical cycle. So basically, what I'm going to write here is delta H1 plus delta H2 equals to delta H3. The value of delta H1 is going to be minus 109 plus the value of delta H2 we need to find out. And the value of delta H3 is basically given in the question, which is minus 53. So if we find out the value of delta H2, it's going to be minus 53 plus 109. So the value is going to be plus 56 kilojoules per mole. And I hope it makes sense to you. Okay, let's move on to the next part of the question. Cyclopentene reacts with hot concentrated acidified KMNO4 to form compound W. Draw the structure of W. So that's cyclopentene. Let me copy this structure. And we have done a lot of practice regarding this reaction, okay? And I hope you can make it. First of all, which one is CH? Let's find out. This is CH. This is CH also, which means it will turn to carboxylic acid, it will turn to carboxylic acid, and we know that this bond is going to be ruptured from the middle of the molecule. So the structure is going to be like this. This is going to be COOH, and this is going to be COOH. Okay, and that's the structure, guys. I hope it makes sense to you. Or you can write even this CH will turn to COOH always. This is CH2, this is CH2, this is CH2. And this CH will turn to CWH. You can write the answer in that way also. So both are acceptable, okay? Both of them are right. It doesn't make any difference between uh, these two structures. The infrared spectrum of W is shown. This is basically your W. And you know that W has carboxylic functional group, which means this very broad pointed strong peak appear at 3000 centimeter inverse, and this very broad peak indicates CWH at 3000 centimeter inverse. Okay. Also, this peak appear at 1720 centimeter inverse. This means it shows carbonyl group. Okay. So I hope it makes sense to you what sort of infrared spectrum is given. Um, let's read the question first. Identify two absorption in the infrared spectrum of W that would not be present in the infrared spectrum of cyclopentane. Write one or two on the figure 3.3 against each of these two absorptions. This is one, and that represents carbonyl. Okay, and that represents 1720 centimeter inverse. This is going to be 2, and that is CWH, very broad peak at 3000 centimeter inverse. Okay. Uh, Examiner is looking for the bond. They are not looking for the value. Write 1 or 2 on the figure, 1 and 2 on the figure. Absorption 1, bond responsible. Uh, okay. Okay, that's the end of this part. Next, figure 4.1 shows a possible synthesis of propene. So carboxylic acid is converting into primary alcohol, which means reduction takes place in reaction 1. So identify the type of reaction. Reduction. And obviously I'm going to use lithium, aluminum hydride, and dry ether, if you remember. Now this alcohol will turn to, the entire thing is same, only OH, chlorine is replaced by OH, which means I'm going to use PCl5 in this scenario. And this is alkyl halide. Alkyl halide undergoes elimination to give C3H6, which is your propene. And elimination always takes place through ethanolic NaOH. Examiner has written only NaOH. Okay. So suggest a suitable reagent for reaction 2. That's easy. Either you can write PCl5 or SOCl2. That's totally up to you. Both are applicable. Okay. Both are applicable. Reaction 3 is an elimination reaction. Write an equation for the reaction, identify the solvent and condition used. Equation. Ethanolic solution of NaOH needs to be used for elimination according to my lecture, which we have done in theory classes. So you will get water and sodium ethoxide, if you remember. Solvent is going to be ethanol, and condition is going to be heat. Okay, or heat under reflux. then this alcohol can be directly converted to propene. So this is propanol. It is converting into propene. So propanol will turn to propene directly by using either aluminum oxide or concentrated sulfuric acid. Okay. So concentrated sulfuric acid I'm going to write, or you can even write aluminum oxide because aluminum oxide is a dehydrating agent. I've given you both the information, okay, in the lecture. Under suitable conditions, propene polymerizes to form polypropene, exhibit a stereoisomerism. Okay, identify the type of polymerization that forms polypropene from propene. Alkenes always undergoes addition polymerization. Okay, define stereoisomerism. Oh, that's easy. Compounds which have the same molecular formula, same molecular formula, same molecular and structural formula, but different arrangement of atoms in space. But different arrangement of atoms in space. Guys, the arrangement of atoms in space is also called spatial arrangement of atoms, okay? So it doesn't make any difference. Either you need to write different spatial arrangement of atoms or different arrangement of atom in space is the same thing, okay? Let's move on to the next part of the question. Draw a section of polypropene showing two repeating units. That's easy. We have done this in class. Seems like it's a very simple paper. This is the first monomer, and this is the second monomer. Okay. Under the diagram, to identify the type of stereoisomerism shown by polypropene. This is going to be the chiral carbon atom, first group, second group, this is going to be the third, and this is going to be the fourth group. Okay. This is also chiral carbon atom. This is first group, this is second, this is third, this entire thing is fourth group. So optical isomerism. Due to the presence of chiral carbon atom, let me show the chiral carbon atom through steric. The chiral carbon atom, it exhibits optical isomerism. Uh, and due to presence of chiral carbon, it exhibit optical chiral carbon. I mean, मुझे ये incomplete statement लग रहा है. Uh, chiral carbon atom has four groups or four different groups. Are attached to CH carbon. Okay. By the way, this carbon is also called methylated carbon. Okay. So you can write are attached to methylated carbon, which is why it exhibits stereoisomerism. Okay. State two difficulties associated with the disposal of polypropene. Number one, all addition polymers are non-biodegradable. And second thing, on combustion, they will produce harmful gases. And one of the most important harmful gases is carbon dioxide, which causes global warming. Okay. Non-biodegradable means cannot hydrolyze with water. Okay. Part C. Under different conditions, two molecules of propene can combine to form compound X and Y. Name X. So we need to select the longest possible carbon chain, including the functional groups. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So from the right hand side, the position of double bond is going to be 3. Let me give the number from the left hand side. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. So from the left hand side, the position of double bond is 1. So I'm going to use left hand side for naming because position of double bond is minimal. Okay. So second carbon has methyl branch, third carbon has methyl branch. We have two branches. So it's going to be 2, 3 dash dimethyl. 4 carbon atom is but, and 1 carbon atom has double bond, so 1 dash ene. So that's the systematic name of compound X, which is 2, 3 dash dimethyl but 1ene. Figure 4.2 shows the mass spectrum of either X or compound Y. Okay. Mm, guys, can we take out the M out of this compound? Let me check. 15 times 4 plus 24. It's 84. And the MR of this compound is also, I believe, 84. Which means the molecular ion peak appear at mass 84. So this is the molecular ion peak 80, 81, 82, 83, 84. This is the molecular ion peak. And it shows mass 84. So if molecular mass is increased by 1 unit, then it's going to be M plus 1 peak. Because this peak appear at mass 85. Okay. I hope it makes sense to you. Identify which X and Y give this mass spectrum. Okay. Give one reason for your answer referring to the fragmentation pattern. My bad. Hold on. 15, hold on. 15 45 plus plus plus, ठीक है, सही है. Fragmentation, that's tricky. Well, let's start with this. This is CH2 double bond C, CH3, CH, CH3, and CH3. So by the way, there are multiple fragments you can get from here. The first common fragmentation is CH3, which has a mass to charge ratio of 15. The second common fragment is CH, CH3, and CH3, which has a mass to charge ratio of 43, I believe. Okay. 40, 41, 42, 43. This is 43 की peak. And this is 15 की peak. Okay. Three. In this compound, let me draw this compound CH3, C, CH3 double bond C, CH3, and then CH3. The first fragment appear from here is CH3 plus, which shows 15 mass to charge ratio. The second fragment shows this, and I think it's going to be I don't know how much peak. That's 30 plus 12, 42. Okay. So give one reason for your answer referring to the fragmentation pattern. And 41 is the base peak. 30, 42, 43. Okay. So this is compound X, and this is compound Y. So compound X gives you 43 की peak, which does not exist in compound Y. Hmm. 15. Hold on. Let me give you another fragment. 15 plus 13 is going to be 28. No. ठीक है. So X gives peak at mass to charge 43. That's my first point. Second point, Y gives peak at mass to charge 42. So X cannot give 42 and Y cannot give 43. Okay. Y can't give 43 and X can't give 42. So basically you need to write all these points to get 1 mark. Okay. The molecular ion peak in the spectrum in figure 4.2, relative abundance is 34.7. Calculate the relative abundance of m plus 1 peak in this spectrum. So total number of carbon atom here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So total number of carbon atom in both the compound is 6. So basically n equals to 100 over 1.1. Abundance of m plus 1 peak over abundance of molecular ion peak. So the number of carbon atom is 6. 100 over 1.1 is fixed. I'm not going to change it. The abundance of m plus 1 peak we need to find out. And the abundance of molecular ion peak is given, which is 34.7. So the abundance of m plus 1 peak is going to be how much? 2.29. Okay. So that's my answer. And that's the end of this paper, guys. Hope it makes sense to you. Thank you very much.